Chapter 4. The Guidance of the Ancient Legend. Sumu couldn't sleep a wink all night, his mind filled with the runes in the spiritual spring and the mysterious scenes in the back mountain. As soon as the sky began to lighten, he couldn't wait to get up and went to his grandfather's room. His grandfather was already sitting at the table, a yellowed, ancient book spread out in front of him, and he was poring over it intently. "Grandpa, what are you looking at?" Sumo asked curiously, leaning over. His grandfather looked up, his eyes bloodshot, evidently not having slept much last night either. He pointed to the ancient book and said, "Mua, I've been looking through the night for records about those runes and the possible secrets of the back mountain. And guess what? I actually found some clues." Upon hearing this, Sumu immediately perked up. He quickly pulled over a chair and sat down, his eyes fixed on the ancient book. His grandfather cleared his throat and said slowly, "This ancient book was passed down from our Sioux family's ancestors. It contains some little-known ancient legends of the spirit fantasy realm. One of them mentions that on the outskirts of the spirit fantasy realm, there exist some passages connecting different spiritual power planes. Around these passages, there often appear strange spiritual power fluctuations and mysterious runes. Moreover, the opening of these passages may be related to some special spiritual power nodes. Maybe the spiritual spring in Linksy Town is one of these nodes." Sumu listened intently, and the doubts in his heart seemed to find some direction. He asked eagerly, "Grandpa, then what's the connection with what happened in the back mountain? And about those runes, can you figure out what they mean?" His grandfather shook his head and said, "The ancient book doesn't clearly record the specific meaning of the runes, but from the description, there might be a passage leading to other spiritual power planes hidden in the back mountain. The recent abnormal activities of the spiritual spring and the spiritual power fluctuations you felt in the back mountain may be signs that the passage is about to open." Sumo was shocked. He realized that things were far more complex and mysterious than he had imagined. A passage connecting different spiritual power planes. What kind of unknown world would be waiting for him to explore? And what kind of dangers would it bring? "Grandpa, then I must go to the back mountain to have a look. Maybe I can find the key to unlocking all the mysteries." Sumu clenched his fists, his eyes full of determination. His grandfather looked at Sumu, his eyes filled with worry, yet also a hint of pride. He knew that Sumu had inherited the brave, exploring spirit of the Sioux family's ancestors. "Muer, you must remember that no matter what happens, you should act according to your ability. If you find that the danger is beyond your tolerance, come back immediately. Although Grandpa is old, I can still give you some advice." Sumu nodded firmly and said, "Grandpa, don't worry. I'll be careful. I plan to find Lin Feng today and go to the back mountain with him. With one more person, there will be more help." Lin Feng was Sumo's childhood friend. He was cheerful and brave, and like Sumo, he was full of curiosity about the unknown. Sumo believed that with Lin Feng by his side, their exploration journey might go more smoothly. After saying goodbye to his grandfather, Sumo hurried to Lin Feng's house. Lin Feng was practicing sword play in the courtyard. Seeing Sumu coming, he stopped his movements and said with a smile, "Sumu, what brings you here today? Did you find something interesting again?" Sumu told Lin Feng all about the runes in the spiritual spring, the spiritual power fluctuations in the back mountain, and the ancient legend his grandfather had mentioned. After hearing this, Lin Feng's eyes lit up immediately, and he said excitedly, "Wow, is it really that amazing? Then what are we waiting for? Let's go to the back mountain right away." The two hit it off immediately. They quickly packed their bags, took some necessary items, and stepped into the forest of the back mountain again. This time, their hearts were filled with anticipation and excitement, along with an added sense of caution. After entering the back mountain, relying on his memory from last time, Sumu led Lin Feng towards the place where he had previously detected the spiritual power fluctuations. Along the way, they carefully paid attention to the surrounding movements, not daring to slack off in the slightest. However, strangely enough, the back mountain seemed unusually quiet this time, and the eerie atmosphere from last time had completely disappeared. "Sumu, why does it feel different this time from last time?" Lin Feng said in a low voice, a hint of doubt showing in his eyes. Sumu frowned and said, "I think it's strange too, but anyway, we'll follow the plan and go to that valley we went to before. Maybe we can find more clues." The two continued walking and soon arrived at the valley where Sumo had encountered the black spirit beast last time. There was still a faint stench of blood in the valley, but the black spirit beast was nowhere to be seen. Sumu and Lin Feng searched the valley carefully, hoping to find some new clues. Suddenly, Lin Feng discovered a hidden cave on one side of the valley. The entrance of the cave was covered by some vines and weeds. It was hard to notice if one didn't look carefully. "Sumu, Look here, there's a cave! Lin Feng shouted excitedly. Sumu quickly ran over. The two of them carefully pushed aside the vines and weeds and looked into the cave. It was pitch black inside, and a damp smell wafted out faintly. Sumu took a deep breath and said, "Let's go in and take a look. Maybe the answers we're looking for are hidden inside." With that, Sumu took out a fire-making tube, lit it, and took the lead in entering the cave. Lin Feng followed closely behind him, tightly gripping his sword and vigilantly watching all around. The cave was narrow and deep, with moss covering the walls, and the ground under their feet was very slippery. They moved forward slowly along the cave, not knowing what awaited them ahead.